Kekoa, call me Kea. I was the first, and now there's a whole bunch of them, all these kids, some of them are Keas. I'm honored to be the oldest Kea. I'm the daughter of Hotch and Nancy. In case you don't know, Hotch is Buddy Kekoa's brother, and I'm so honored to be asked to do this. I will now begin my first of 7 pages. Thank you to my 2 aunties who just had a short one. How did that happen? Anyways, I love my Aunty Lily. I always have and I always will. My auntie and I share a special bond because we have the same birthday. And so January 17th is a special, special day because I get to share that with my auntie. And I know she felt the same way. We loved each other just because we had the same birthday. And every birthday, I would think about her, I would call her, I would text her. January 17th was our day, Auntie and myself. I can remember early stories about my Aunty Lil. Well, by early I mean like way back, but I also remember early morning stories, 5s, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. If I'm staying at their house, the laundry is already going, the house is already being scrubbed, everything is clean already before everybody even woke up. I remember staying there and my cousins would have to vacuum the entire house before they go to school. Very different than my house. I couldn't believe it, but you know, till today, they are some of the cleanest people I know. Very, very clean. Thank you, Auntie. Taught them how to be clean. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. You know, there's a smell, right? There's a fragrance that reminds you of somebody special. You used to smell something and you say, oh, that's the perfume that my grandma wore, or oh, that's the fragrance that my mom loved. For me, what reminds me of my Aunty Lil, till this day, when I smell it, it's my Aunty Lil. Pine Sol. I don't care where I am. If I smell pine salt, boom, there's my Aunty Lily in my head. Because she, correct me if I'm wrong, cousins, she cleaned so much that she scrubbed the fingerprints off of her fingers.
Yeah.
True story. That was really important to her. Oh, I love my auntie. Anyway, as I was preparing for this, I made a list of all the adjectives that I could think of that would describe my auntie. I mean, the list was getting long. And then I got to thinking, so what am I going to do with this list of words? And I didn't have a clue. I don't know what I'm going to do with these words. So I thought I'm just going to choose a few and highlight those today. So let me tell you about my mom. My mom, Holly from Oregon, and my Aunty Lil became fast friends when they married 2 of the 4 Kekoa brothers. Now, if you knew the Kekoa brothers, you knew how kolohe they were. And you knew why my mom and my auntie hooked up really fast. Because they needed each other for support. Anyway, my mom was a good observer and a good listener. And she watched everything my Aunty Lil did. Before you knew it, my Holly mama was making rice in a rice cooker. She was feeding Spam to her family, unheard of in Oregon. And she was learning how to just sit at the beach and relax after a long day's work. I mean, those 2 girls could sit on a mat at the beach till the sun went down, laughing and talking. So much fun. Well, one day my mom started telling us kids a story about Aunty Lily and described her as an angel. Mom told us how hard it was for her to face the fact that she had given birth to a Down syndrome child, my sister Kristen. Mom wasn't sure she would be able to raise this fragile child and was at her wit's end when her sister-in-law Lillian said, Nancy, if you want, Buddy and I will take the baby home. And we'll keep her for as long as you like. And if you want, we'll keep her and raise her as our own. My mom said that that statement alone just lifted a cloud of grief and despair from her heart, knowing that there were options for this beautiful little baby. So she said it took about a couple weeks before she could actually go over to their house and visit the baby. When she did, she was overwhelmed when she walked into the house just by the love she could feel the love as she walked into my Auntie Lily's house. She took my mom to the baby's crib and was so excited to share with her all the things that the baby had learned to do in such a short time. My auntie gave my mom hope and encouragement, and my mom fell madly in love with the baby. At that moment, she decided that if Lil can love this child, so can I. My auntie packed up Kristen's bags and sent her home to our house. Until the day Kristen passed away last year, she held Auntie Lily and Uncle Buddy in a very special place in her heart. And she would often say, Auntie Lily loved me. And I would tell her, more than you could even know, baby, more than you could even know. Very special person to our family. I used to love going to my auntie and my uncle's house. I was just struck by the way that my auntie loved people. She was the primary caregiver for my grandpa Kekoa, her father-in-law. And that wasn't an easy job. He was a Kekoa too. But he was in advanced stages of Alzheimer's, and it was tough. But she continued to serve his needs and to love him no matter what. And I never really got to express to her just how much I appreciated that. But someday, when I see her again, I'm definitely gonna thank her for taking care of and loving my grandpa Kekoa unconditionally. That's another word I want to use to describe her. Someone who loves unconditionally. When my cousins and I were high school, intermediate age, we lived for summer camps. Auntie Jolene told you a little bit about summer camps. We lived for the summer because of summer camp. We knew that that meant friends, and we knew that that meant friends from the outer islands. And not once did my auntie ever complain that her house was going to be filled with teenagers from Hilo, from Kona, from Maui, from Molokai, from all over the state. They were going to come and stay a couple days at her house before we went to camp. She never complained about that, and she loved every one of those kids, every one of those teenagers. Even if she didn't know them, she loved them because she knew that this might be the only chance that they'd hear the message of Jesus. And so she kept them so that they could be ready to go to camp. Her love for other people was so deep. Similarly, the next word I chose to describe my auntie is that of nurturer. If she was assigned to care for you, you needed nothing. She would take care of everything you needed. I remember when my brother Cordell and I were young, we often spent time at Auntie's house, and she would take us along with our cousins to the movies. Now, when we were young, as a Nazarene family, with a Nazarene dad, that was a no-no. But my auntie, that was fine with my auntie. She grew up doing that, so she would take us, and that was just something special to be able to go with her to the movies, something we weren't supposed to do. But she would take us to go, and I just never forgot that. She was an amazing cook, like Auntie Jolene said. And my dad was the Hawaii Nazarene Youth Camp Director for many, many years, but he did have a stipulation. He said, if I'm going to be the camp director, Lil and her team, Jolene and Janice, had to be there. If they were not going to be in the kitchen, he was not going to be director. And so that's why they were in the kitchen so many years. I love that my auntie was in the kitchen. I mean, that's the best place, right? The kitchen. I love that she was there because she would give my friends and I all kind of extra stuff. I mean, sometimes it would be like an extra fried bologna that nobody else got, or we would get 3 pieces of chicken for dinner instead of 2. Or she would wrap up the dessert we were going to have at dinner. She would wrap it up in a little napkin, and when I'd walk by, she would stick it on my plate. And I wouldn't kiss her because then everybody else would know, what do you get? I want what she has. But then later I would tell her, thank you, Auntie, for taking care of us, and she would just smile and hug me. I just loved having her in the kitchen. One of my favorite things was, we were in Waianae, right? And it was so hot, so we would play sports in the afternoon. And after that time, she would let us go into the walk-in refrigerator and just sit in there and cool off. Everybody else outside is sweating, they're complaining because they're hot. Can we get in the pool yet? Whatever. And my friends and I are sitting inside the walk-in refrigerator, freezing. And she was just cracking up that we loved doing that. It was so much fun having her in the kitchen. But I love those evening chapel services at camp when the laughter from the kitchen was louder than the worship going on in the chapel service. Sometimes, I mean, all the campers would be doing this. Because we would have to squelch our laughter because all we can hear is you guys laughing in the kitchen. And until the guest chaplain would say, "What is that?" And I'm just thinking to myself, just my auntie and her friends. I would eventually have to leave the chapel service and go check on my auntie, who was always enjoying life to the fullest, and I love that about her. She had a big, loud laugh, and it just brought so much joy to everybody around her. She would always have late night snacks for just a few of us. And one of my, those were just some of the special things I loved about having her there at camp with me. I felt like all of those special things were just her hugging me. I felt like she deeply cared for me and loved me just by those simple gestures. My Aunty Lily made the best meatloaf. Anybody already know that? Yeah. She made the best shoyu chicken. And I loved her salt and pepper pork chops, the best. So ono. She just cooked everything from her heart. And everybody loved that. And I really believe that she believed that her ability to cook, and especially to cook for a lot of people, was a gift from God. And that she used it willingly to share and care for others. The last descriptor I chose for my auntie is that of a true worshiper. She, along with my Uncle Buddy and my mom and my dad, were like the power quartet made in heaven. Any of you remember them singing, the four of them together? I pray. Yes. Well, then you know. Since my auntie passed, I've been singing their top hit, the one Junior just sang. Their top hit. If they had an album, it would be called I Pray. Or it would be called, what's the name of that song? We don't even know the title. But anyway, these particular lyrics have been going round and round in my head these last few weeks. It says, Lord, guide my footsteps. While here on earth I sadly roam, I am longing for my heavenly home. They sang that over and over. Every time they got on stage, they would sing that song. And all of us kids would be sitting out there singing along. So my auntie's part, I just got to tell this one part. So it says, how does it go? Lord, make my life and move me day by day. And they're singing this, with thy great love for service, Lord, I pray. And then they go, if I should die, fall, die, and friends don't seem to understand, Lord, Savior, hide me. And then my auntie would go, I pray. And we would just roll with her high voice, oh, I pray. That's how much we love that. We love that so much. But, so I was singing that the day she passed. I was just thanking Jesus. And that came to my mind. I pray in the palm of your hand. But it says, I'm longing for my heavenly home. And that was always her aim. That was always her goal, to get to her heavenly home. I loved hearing her strong yet sweet soprano voice, just like Jolene talked about, as she would sing to her Savior. When we sang and when she prayed aloud, there was no doubt that she had a personal relationship with her Maker. And I am overjoyed that today she is in His presence. So of all the words I found to describe her, I chose these four. An angel, A. With unconditional love, U. Who was an amazing nurturer, N. With a heart of a true worshiper. AUNT, my beloved aunt. She was and is and will always be a part of my heart. As she set a beautiful example of love and joy for me, I do pray that I will be able to continue that legacy to my own nieces and nephews, which ironically, or amazingly, are her own grandchildren too. And I pray that whatever example she set for you in your life, that it will live on as well, live on in you and through you. That's my prayer. Get in, Auntie. I gotta go. I'm gonna miss kissing you when we all gather together. I'm gonna miss hearing your loud, raucous laughter and your sweet, sweet voice singing praises to our God. And in just a few months, I'm gonna celebrate my birthday. I'm gonna celebrate it without you here. But I'll be the one with the biggest smile, knowing that you're celebrating with Jesus. So I'll go home with my auntie till we meet again. Thank you so much for everything. I love you forever. Thank you, and God bless you all.